I just kind of fell in love with that idea, the classic underdog story. I mean, the movie felt like Rocky to me, but it just happened to star a snail. So, I think everybody loves the underpinnings of the classic underdog story, but this sort of took it to a whole new level, I think. And I think it's only the people, the insane minds at DreamWorks that can find a way to kind of bring a snail to life in this way. So. Well, he's somewhat kind of pariah. He's like an outcast in the snail community. He's a guy with big dreams, and the snail community is not about big dreams. They're about punching in and punching out. So I think by and large he's kind of on the outskirts. He's a fringe member of this plant. Well, Turbo's big dream is to go fast, and it's the one thing a snail can't do. And for him, his lifelong aspiration is to be, not just the fastest snail in the world, but just the fastest creature in the world. And that at the beginning of the film is by and large an impossibility, but Turbo finds a way to make that work. Well, I think it's magical realism to some degree without the realism. It's sort of it's preposterous. I remember when I was pitched the film, Jeffrey Katzenberg came to me and he said, I have this story about a guy who has an impossible dream. His dream is to win the Indy 500. And I said, well, what's so impossible about that? And he said, well, he's a snail. And I said, well, that's impossible. And I was in right away. I just thought that sounds amazing. So just to be on that journey and be with these films that take a couple of years to actually kind of manifest, it's pretty incredible. Well, it's just, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, because you're really privy to something that the larger audience doesn't really get to see. I mean, when I start out, there's nothing but rough sketches and kind of crude, sort of scratchy drawings of the characters, and then those come to life in such a vivid and incredible way that it's wild to see that progression. Because I'll do these sessions every couple of months. I'll come in for a couple of hours, and the leaps and bounds they take between sessions is remarkable. So I mean, the last one I was watching fully rendered chunks of the film in 3D, and it was just, I mean, mind blowing. So you kind of hark back to when you're a kid, when you're 6 years old, and you live inside of your imagination. And what's amazing about the team at DreamWorks is that these people are paid daily to live inside of their imagination. So they invite you into that fold and that family, and you get to kind of take part in that. So there's so much fun and so much. It's captivating. I mean, when you're there, because you're having to imagine this world. And the world is ridiculous. I mean, you're imagining a world in which you are a snail and you work at a garden plant, and then you become the fastest snail on Earth. And so you really actually get to exercise those muscles that have sort of, long since been dormant since you're a little kid. And I love that. They sort of steal a little piece of your soul, because when you watch the movie, you see yourself, in there. And they film you when you're recording as well. So they're using some of your facial expressions, but obviously I gesture a lot with my hands or something like that. You're not going to see that too much, but I did have a couple of moments where I did something like funny, or I would gesture with my hands, and then they would use Turbo's sort of antenna-like eyes to do the same, and it was great to see that. He believes that one day he will be fast, so much so that he's training for it, and it's like it doesn't even occur to him that he's a snail. And I just love that. I love that relentlessness and that pursuit of your dream, and not allowing anything to get in the way of that is so important. I think there's an important message in there too. So, and what I love about the film is just, that you could take that classic underdog story and you could make it so funny as well. Generally those movies are aiming for only inspiring, and this is both inspiring and funny. So.